Revelations about that Trump team meeting with a Russian lawyer. Turns out others were also in the room, including, as NBC News was first to report, a former Soviet counterintelligence sergeant. And what was contained in the document that lawyer brought to the meeting. Killer's accomplice, a second man now charged in 4 murders after his cousin's confession. Tonight, the chilling new details in the case. Massive sinkhole caught on camera, a house swallowed into the ground. Neighbors evacuated as more homes are threatened. Deadly chases, new pressure on police in a major American city to better protect the public when they're in hot pursuit. And Crimson Classic, an American icon, rolls on, celebrating a century of fun. Nightly News begins right now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
And good evening and welcome to our new studio home here at 30 Rock. Good to have you here. The drip of revelations about that meeting involving the president's eldest son and a Russian lawyer threatens to become a steady trickle, with NBC News learning today that there were other previously undisclosed participants in that meeting, including a former Russian military counterintelligence sergeant. Donald Trump Jr. released emails this week proving he took the June 2016 meeting with the expectation of learning damaging goods on Hillary Clinton from a Russian government attorney. But new information tonight is challenging the younger Trump's account of that meeting. NBC's Peter Alexander has the latest details.
President Trump tonight back home after taking part in French Bastille Day celebrations, returning to a parade of problems. NBC News has learned that this man, Rinat Akhmetshin, a Russian-born American lobbyist and a former Soviet counterintelligence sergeant, who some U.S. officials suspect has ongoing ties to Russian intelligence, was also in that room at Trump Tower last summer, alongside Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort, Russian lawyer Natalia Veselnitskaya, and a translator. Akhmetshin denies any current ties to Russian spy agencies.
If you're an investigator and you care most about ties between the Trump organization and the Russian efforts to meddle in the election, this meeting now looks a lot more significant.
Trump Jr.'s lawyer now tells NBC News Veselnitskaya was accompanied by 2 people, but didn't name them. It's the latest twist in this ever-evolving drama just 3 days after the younger Trump dismissed concerns that more revelations would follow.
So as far as you know, as far as this incident is concerned, this is all of it.
This is everything. This is everything.
The fact that they failed to mention the presence of this Russian-American lobbyist is only going to further pique the interest of Special Counsel Robert Mueller and other investigators.
Veselnitskaya this week told NBC News she brought a 2-page document that included a brief description of what she believed were questionable contributions to the DNC, and that Trump Jr. asked whether she had financial records to prove it.
My answer was no, that it was never my intention to collect any financial records to that end.
Trump Jr. says no meaningful information was exchanged, and the president's repeatedly defended his son.
Most people would have taken that meeting. It's called opposition research.
Still, Democrats are pouncing on today's news.
This provides yet another conduit back to the Kremlin that the Trump campaign would eagerly accept the help of the Russian government.
Also tonight, NBC News has confirmed the president is adding to his growing roster of lawyers in the Russia investigation, hiring a veteran D.C. attorney to handle the legal response here inside the White House. Lester?
Peter Alexander at the White House, thank you. At a moment that has a lot of people talking today, President Trump's long goodbye with French President Emmanuel Macron as he concluded his trip to Paris. Their farewell handshake today went on and on and on, lasting nearly 30 seconds. At one point, Mr. Trump even pulled in France's first lady without ever letting go of her husband's hand until finally it was time to leave for the flight back home. Now to the new developments in the murders of 4 young men in Pennsylvania. A second man has now been charged in those murders after his cousin confessed to police. And tonight we're learning chilling new details in the case. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the latest.
Today, a Pennsylvania DA revealed a gruesome tale describing in detail the murder of 4 young men.
We have the 2 men locked up that need to be brought to justice.
Cosmo DiNardo pled guilty to 24 charges, including 4 counts of criminal homicide. His cousin, 20-year-old Sean Kratz, confessed to 3 of the murders. According to the affidavit, the killing spree began on July 5th. DiNardo told police he shot and killed Jimmy Patrick because Patrick didn't have enough money to buy 4 pounds of marijuana. DiNardo buried the body on his parents' sprawling multi-million-dollar estate. On July 7th, DiNardo agreed to sell Dean Finicaro marijuana. He picked up Kratz, and instead of going through with the deal, DiNardo told police Kratz shot Finicaro in the head. Kratz blamed that shooting on his cousin. The same night, DiNardo drove both Tom Mio and Mark Sturgis to another drug deal, where Kratz was waiting. DiNardo is quoted in the affidavit, "When they turned their backs on me, I shot Tom. When Sturgis ran, DiNardo started shooting him." DiNardo told police he poured gasoline into a metal tank and attempted to burn the bodies, and then buried them.
We did find 3 of those young men buried deep within the ground under an old oil tank that was converted into a cooker about 12.5 feet down.
Dominic Bellizzi is the local police chief.
4 young men killed like that. It's just terrible.
What effect does it have on this community?
They're in shock. Our community's in shock.
The mystery now solved. What happened to these 4 young men won't be forgotten. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
The worst may still not be over tonight in parts of the upper Midwest hit hard by severe storms. Flash flooding left thousands of buildings underwater in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, where states of emergency have been declared. Tonight, millions are at risk of more heavy rain and damaging winds as the dangerous weather system moves east. And in Florida, neighbors have evacuated from the site of a massive sinkhole. It opened up this morning and rapidly expanded to more than 200 feet, swallowing up a pair of homes. And now several other houses are also threatened nearby. We get more from NBC's Kerry Sanders.
Early this morning, neighbors just outside of Tampa, Florida, startled by a sharp, crackling sound. The earth had opened beneath them, a dangerous sinkhole quickly growing.
There's a sinkhole right next to our neighbor's house, and it's literally eating the house like completely.
Look at that. It's a sinkhole.
Jose Rodriguez and his family at first didn't understand what was happening, but then scrambled to safety as the walls in their homes cracked and the floors buckled under their feet.
The first time I didn't know what to do, actually. I just saw the house. It was bouncing, cracking, falling apart.
The sinkhole is now 225 feet in diameter, approximately 50 feet deep, and growing as residents in nearby homes evacuate.
Unfortunately, I don't think people in this community are going to sleep peacefully for a couple weeks.
This part of Florida is known as Sinkhole Alley. In 2013, just an hour away, another massive sinkhole swallowed a man after it opened beneath his bedroom. His body was never found. Florida's sandy soil sits on top of a layer of clay and a layer of limestone. Circulating water from too much rain or drought can dissolve the underground layers, causing the earth to give way. And when that happens, usually without warning, everything, including homes, go down as the earth collapses. Tonight, with 2 homes already gone and 9 homes evacuated because they're in the path of this growing sinkhole, the question is, when will it stabilize and stop growing? And the experts here say making that call could take weeks. Lester?
What an awful scene there. Kerry Sanders, thank you. There's still a great deal of uncertainty tonight over chances of passing the latest Republican health care bill. Both President Trump and Vice President Pence turned up the heat today on Republican senators who are undecided. NBC's Casey Hunt reports on the big incentives being offered to some.
The new Republican health care bill hanging on by a thread, now sewn together with backroom deals. The Bayou bailout, Sunshine sellout, and the Polar payoff, each aimed at a single Republican senator still on the fence about whether to vote yes to repeal and replace Obamacare.
I am not going to make any decisions on procedure or process until I've done my homework here.
Senator Lisa Murkowski was a no on the last draft, but this version tweaks a formula to give Alaska special access to a $132 billion pot of money. Florida has a special carve-out for Marco Rubio, and so does Louisiana for Bill Cassidy. It's all orchestrated by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
He's pulled more than one rabbit out of the hat, and I keep asking him if he feels the fuzzy ears of another one in there somewhere. So we'll see.
With 2 Republicans already opposed, McConnell can't lose any more Republican votes if he wants to pass the bill. Vice President Mike Pence today pitching Republican governors worried about losing Medicaid money.
This is your chance. The Senate health care bill restores Medicaid to its original purpose.
In West Virginia, where 1 in 3 people relies on Medicaid,
it's terrifying for me as a mother.
Christy Judd's son was born with a rare genetic condition and needs round-the-clock care. She's waiting to find out what this will mean for her family.
If we lost Medicaid, we would fight with everything we have in order to make sure we were able to keep Ethan at home with us.
Casey Hunt, NBC News, the Capitol.
Turning overseas now to a deadly attack captured on video at Jerusalem's holiest site. It shows a gunman opening fire on Israeli police, killing 2. And at one point, one of the attackers even appeared to be playing dead as police closed in. NBC's Kelly Kobiea has more.
Tonight, Israeli police releasing this video of an ambush on holy ground. Attackers shooting and killing 2 Israeli officers in Jerusalem's Old City. Minutes later, one of the gunmen apparently playing dead, then jumping up again, trying to run away. Israeli police open fire, killing him.
All 3 terrorists were shot and killed.
The attack happened at Jerusalem's holiest ground for both Jews and Muslims, the Temple Mount and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Israeli security services said all 3 attackers were related, Arab Israelis from a town near the West Bank. 2 of them posting a selfie at the Al-Aqsa Mosque yesterday with an ominous message. Tomorrow's smile is more beautiful. Tonight, in a controversial move, Israelis closed the area, the mosque, off limits for Friday prayers.
There's a real chance that this could lead to more demonstrations and therefore more violence in Jerusalem.
The most brazen attack in months, and anger is spreading on both sides. Kelly Kobiea, NBC News.
It's been almost a week since Iraqi forces, backed by American advisors, drove out ISIS fighters from the key city of Mosul. But the human toll of that battle will be felt for a very long time. Tonight, our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, is in Iraq with the people now freed from ISIS and the American first responder who left the comforts of home to go to a war zone.
Iraq won the battle against ISIS here in Mosul, but victims are still pouring in. And still treating them in an abandoned butcher shop is Pete Reed from New Jersey.
Can I have another 10 mil syringe? Hundreds of thousands of people's lives were obliterated. Their family members were killed, sometimes entire families.
We met him 8 months ago. The 28-year-old EMT dropped everything to move to this war zone, and with a friend, made treating the wounded of this city his life's mission.
Yeah, I got the artery, yeah.
How many frontline medical posts like this are there in Mosul right now? 1.
You're standing in it.
Reed never left. He now has nearly 20 staff and volunteers. They've treated, he says, 7,000 to 10,000 injured. Reed changed his life for this war, but an Iraqi doctor working alongside him had his life changed by it. Dr. Aziz Al-Qassab was in Mosul when ISIS began its reign of terror. They forced him into service at one of the city's main hospitals, where he's now returned to work. Dr. Qassab, a father of 2, says ISIS watched his every move, kept him a prisoner.
And if you refused, what would have happened?
If I refuse, they may kill me.
Dr. Qassab now treats women. That was impossible under the group's strict Islamic rules, not even when one woman came in bleeding badly.
They would rather her die than allow you to touch her and treat her.
They say to me, let her die peacefully.
But the hospital is still not fully functioning. So for now, the young man from New Jersey is keeping his clinic open.
At the end of it, they always talk about how many people died. We wanted that number just to be a little bit less. And if nothing else, we did that.
Reed plans to move his clinic as Iraqi troops advance on ISIS in other towns and villages. Human rights groups say the exact number of people buried under the rubble in Mosul or killed by ISIS in the city may never be known. Lester?
Richard Engel in Iraq tonight. You can see more of Richard's reporting this evening in his special series On Assignment with Richard Engel tonight at 10 Eastern on MSNBC. Former President Jimmy Carter is out of the hospital in Canada tonight, one day after being treated for dehydration. The 92-year-old Carter became weak while working on a Habitat for Humanity project, and he spent the night in the hospital as a precaution. He returned to the work site this morning for an event marking the end of the project. There's more to tell you about tonight. Still ahead, the new warning about high-speed police pursuits. What the city best known for these chases is doing now to cut down on bystanders being injured and killed. Also stood up, why so many brides-to-be are in panic mode and making alternative plans tonight.
Across the country, we walk, carrying flowers that signify why we want to end Alzheimer's disease. But what if, one day, there was a white flower for Alzheimer's first survivor? What if there were millions of them? Join us for the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's. Register today at alz.org/walk.
Each year, Sarah climbs 58,070 steps. That's the height of Mount Everest. Because each day she chooses to take the stairs, at work, at home, even on the escalator. That can be hard on her lower body. So now she does it with Dr. Scholl's orthotics, clinically proven to relieve and prevent foot, knee, or lower back pain by reducing the shock and stress that travel up her body with every step she takes. So keep on climbing, Sarah. You're killing it. Dr. Scholl's, born to move.
The day after chemo might mean a trip back to the doctor's office, just for a shot. But why go back there when you can stay home with Neulasta Onpro?
Strong chemo can put you at risk of serious infection. Neulasta helps reduce infection risk by boosting your white blood cell count, which strengthens your immune system. In a key study, Neulasta reduced the risk of infection from 17% to 1%, a 94% decrease. Applied the day of chemo, Neulasta Onpro is designed to deliver Neulasta the next day. Neulasta is for certain cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to Neulasta or Neupogen, filgrastim. Ruptured spleen, sometimes fatal as well as serious lung problems, allergic reactions, kidney injuries, and capillary leak syndrome have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, or allergic reactions to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
So why go back there? If you'd rather be home, ask your doctor about Neulasta Onpro.
Today has tips for time-crunch families. Cook it, don't buy it.
Okay, I'll bite. What do you got?
Save money, time, and calories.
This is less than 500 calories.
10 foods for a week of healthy meals. A special series next week.
Sunday night with Megyn Kelly. Silicon Valley has a secret.
It felt like I had a stalker. He backed me into a corner and kissed me.
How did you choose to handle it?
The women have had enough.
If we don't talk about it, it's going to keep happening.
Sunday night on NBC.
We're back now with a warning in what some consider the car chase capital of America. A new grand jury report says police in Los Angeles County must curb their high-speed chases because too many bystanders are getting injured or killed. And as NBC's Miguel Almaguer reports, it's of a serious concern.
It's a felony stop. Let me see
the heart-pounding high drama seems to play out every day in Southern California. And often ends like this.
Oh, look at that. Oh, you just crashed.
According to a Los Angeles County grand jury reviewing 421 pursuits during a one-year period, 17% ended in a crash that could have resulted in injury or death. 3 people were killed, 45 hurt. 15-year-old Jack Phoenix was killed by a car fleeing LAPD as he was crossing the street.
A police car should be able to stop a car rather than just chase it through a city. It's the Wild West.
He's wiping out. The grand jury says officers need more training and pursuit policies should change. The report highlights 91% of high-speed chases nationwide are officers responding to nonviolent crimes.
When people are injured and killed for a pursuit of a traffic violation or a property crime, that's hard to take.
The LAPD and Sheriff's Department now has 90 days to respond to the grand jury report. Both agencies say they are constantly weighing the risk to the public and trying to mitigate the threat.
The most important factor that we take into consideration
is the immediate overall danger to the officers involved and to the general public.
Boy, this is a desperate driver here.
Tonight, police are in overdrive to keep the public safe. But some say that means putting the brakes on dangerous pursuits. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Up next, a selfie gone wrong and the expensive catastrophe that it triggered.
When you have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, the unpredictable